this meeting to order. Number 3, public comment. Nobody this evening. Okay, thank you. Number 4, consent agenda items A through G.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Give me 1 second. Number 5, approval of a resolution authorizing a contract, rent, and lease with Scott County School District Finance Corporation, and approve all other documents in connection with the proposed Scott County School District Finance Corporation of 2022 bond issue.
Do we need to have a motion to, oh, it's next. Move. Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, approve to recess special called meeting to convene the Scott County School District Finance Corporation meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 1, call to order. Elect officers for the Scott County School District Finance Corporation. We just need to read or approve as stated, Billy?
Yeah, I would motion as presented.
Okay.
I move to approve as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, approval of a resolution authorizing issuance of the Scott County Scott County School District Finance Corporation Revenue Bonds Series of 2022 and advertising for bond sale.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, approval of all other documents in connection with the bond issue.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, adjourn special called meeting of the Scott County School District Finance Corporation.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along. Number 7, reconvene to special called meeting.
Move to reconvene. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, student achievement report. Good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't know, how are you all?
Very good, thank you.
For our student achievement report tonight, we're just going to give you an update on the professional learning and some of the work the teachers have been doing this summer. So we've had our first week of R3, Recovery 3 training with the focus on vocabulary and scaffolding. We have one more session tomorrow. We've had about 276 teachers to attend this week in June. The teachers have really enjoyed the opportunity to collaborate with other teachers from across the district, and we will have additional sessions again in August. This is one of the required trainings of the district. We have been able to offer a lot of different instructional trainings for teachers. We've had guided reading, fact fluency. We had a focus on how to plan social studies lessons around the skill of inquiry. We've had a lot of technology training in preparation for our one-to-one. We've done some ed tech tools, and we've also done some more work with Google Workspace, some of our instructional software. We've also done some trainings on mindfulness and behavior, and Dr. Roger Cleveland came back and did some diversity, equity, and inclusion training, and I'm very happy to announce that he will be back in August to do a training with our bus drivers. We're very excited about that. We also have done a lot of curriculum work. This is our second year of working on the curriculum maps. We've had the math, science, social studies, and the ELA teams in, and I must say it's been some of the best work I think that I've been engaged in. The teachers are so passionate about their curriculum, and they have done so much work, and there's still work to be done, and they're very, very excited about it, and they're even talking about how do we make sure that we really train all teachers on how to use these curriculum maps correctly, so we're gonna look at that. We also added elementary special areas, music, art, and PE as a curriculum team, and they have been working. And we've done assessment work. The social studies and science teams have had their first round of training in assessment, and they will have the first district benchmark assessment for those two areas created prior to the opening of the school year. So it's been a very, very busy June, and we're only halfway through. So, but it's been very good work. We're all very, very pleased.
Very good, thank you.
With those, I'm sorry, with the curriculum maps, are they creating like Google, a Google Drive to where, you know, like all second grade teachers have access to them?
Yes, we have a student learning site, and all the curriculum maps are there, so teachers have access to the maps. There's a feedback process on the maps. You can only access them if you have a Scott County email,
Right.
which
Is good.
is good.
Yes.
As I said, I would sell my maps. I won't go give them away for free. I'm just joking.
Teachers pay teachers.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
they have access to them.
Okay. Yeah, that's very helpful. I loved, you know, being able to access and pull all that. Just the collaboration from them are wonderful. So that's a great tool.
It is.
I'm happy for them to have that.
Thank you.
The recovery, training, was that elementary, middle, high, or just?
It's all
level?
teachers, and it is elementary, middle, high combined, which is another great thing because they get to talk vertically. The curriculum teams also had the opportunity to work K-12 and do a lot of sharing that way, which they absolutely love. High school teachers saying they do that in kindergarten. You know, kindergarten teachers saying, "Wow, I didn't know you had to do that in high school." So it's been very good.
Do we have like a year district plan for professional development?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we've heard that sometimes.
Okay, it's before my life.
Here on the board. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Number 9, annual gifted and talented program evaluation results.
Next, I was just gonna say that, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
That's
okay.
just an annual item that we share, more for review than anything, and so no action required on that, more of a consultation piece.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Number 10, first reading for the 2022-2023 KSBA Board Policy Updates.
Dan, can I jump in there on this one as well?
Please
So
do.
with these, we always get a policy checklist, and they go through they go through all of them. I did want to point out a couple of things. Again, we have special stipulations regarding the non-resident policy and all the different policies and procedures that are tied to that. So KSBA provided some policies for that. So for the purposes of what we're doing, the first reading for this as far as the policies, and then I believe the next item as far as the procedures, we are not going to be looking at policy 09.12, 09.1222, or administrative procedure 09.12 AP.21. And the reason is because we're getting ready to engage in those in a separate act, and the reason we're doing that is because that has a deadline of July 1 versus these have a deadline of August 15. So just to be totally clear that those will be ones that we will discuss. After this session.
Thank you. Number 12, review revised, 11,
Yeah, sorry,
have
there's a
mercy.
number on
Yeah,
the
I
slide.
have to watch how I touch the cursor on this thing or it'll go sideways on me. First reading of revised and updated policies, which are listed, correct?
Yeah, and again, these are the ones that we, and I'll talk about it in the superintendent's report a little bit, but we, for a year, have been looking at these, and we expected KSBA to provide some substantial information, and really, it was a little bit lacking, so we ended up having to do a little bit of work here at the back end.
Can you tell me again which policies were not,
From the checklist, so,
just those?
yeah,
three?
sure. 09.12, 09.122, and then for administrative procedures, which is the next slide, I'll go and tell you that, 09.12 AP.21. Yep.
All good? All right, number 12. Review revised, updated, new administrative procedures, admissions and attendance policies. Number 13, approve 2022-2023 Student Discipline Code of Acceptable Behavior and Discipline.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, approve MOAs between Central Kentucky Educational Cooperative, Deeper Learning, and Scott County Schools.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve addendum for student-teacher agreement with Western Kentucky University for 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, approve orientation and mobility agreement between Scott County Board of Education and Kelly Stewart for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, approve contract and addendum between Hands-On Therapy Services in Scott County Board of Education for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, approve contract between Music Therapy Services of Central Kentucky, Paula Roberts and Associates, and Scott County Board of Education for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, approve proposed salary changes and job description for Mechanic 1 and Mechanic 2.
I got some questions on that.
Yes.
Should just elaborate a little bit, Mr. Parker, about that. I didn't get a chance.
Sure. So what our situation is, we've got our bus garage supervisor and we have one mechanic position out of 4 field.
Right.
So we're just looking at a way to incentivize the situation that we've got. So by making Mechanic 1 and Mechanic 2, Mechanic 1, well, which one is it? Mechanic 2, I think, no, I'm sorry, Mechanic 2 would be someone that's coming in with some qualifying
Right.
experience. So they'd be eligible for an elevated pay versus someone coming in the door with nothing. So
Right.
it's just, it's just a way
I think
to.
it's a good thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a little bit of incentive as a person goes along.
Right.
I think that's fine.
And one thing I did share with you all earlier this week, I sent an email and I mentioned this might, maybe this will be the ticket, maybe it won't. So I just wanted to,
I guess my other question is what changed the document that pulls up here about,
Salaries.
yeah. Is that the updated version of it, or is that what it, well, I guess I'm trying to figure out what changes on the salary schedule.
so there were 2 columns. There was a head bus mechanic column and there was a bus mechanic column.
Correct.
And essentially, it would change to where the head bus mechanic column becomes mechanic 2 and the other bus mechanic will just be mechanic 1.
So it's just a title change for it.
Well, not exactly, because with the head, and that's where I wanted to be crystal clear and transparent with this, because I'm not trying, want to make sure everybody understands. With the head mechanic piece, that would have been something that would have only been eligible for 1, whereas this could be eligible for multiple. It could be, if we get people
Right.
coming in the door with more experience.
You know, well, if you have 3 or 4, half
Yeah.
of them may be
Sure.
level 2 or whatever you call
Correct,
it.
correct.
My
correct.
question is, the pay on it changes from one to another. I got that. The pay that's listed on this document, is that what it's gonna be?
Yes, that's
All right.
correct. Yes, yes.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and good, nice clarification.
Because I kept looking for the second page, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe
Yep.
this is it, what I'm looking at is
It
answering my
is,
question.
yep, yep.
So we're technically not adding new positions, we're just adding a caveat,
change.
title changes that will
Yeah,
that
so,
apply for higher
so,
level.
we got 4 positions still, and we're just creating a tier, an extra tier that people in those 4 positions would be eligible for.
So in the 4 positions, No new positions, but they could be head bus or just, I mean, or just a regular.
Well, they could, the pay wise, as far as it's shown up there, it'd be mechanic one or mechanic
Mechanic
two.
two, right.
It could be that we have four that are all four mechanic two. It could be that
Gotcha.
we have all four that are mechanic one. And, you know,
Well, then
I just like that for it right now. I'll be honest with you, I just like that for it.
Yeah.
What I've heard from other counties, and I don't know that there's a fix to this, because the same counties that was telling me what the mechanics, I know in those mechanics, in those counties,
Yeah.
were saying that they can't get any personnel either, but they don't wanna drive bus.
Right.
And that was the hiccup. And I'm like, well, I don't know how you fix that. And they're like, oh no, we got a bus out here parked that says bus drivers needed, you know, apply wherever. And until that changes, then you might pull double duty.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my last question. Do they, about a year ago, we gave transportation or the drivers, Brady, salary increase. By them being also drivers, do they get that as well?
So.
I didn't think about it until I saw this,
Well, no,
that's why.
but if you'll recall, when we talked about the raises, we did the entire department. So
I
being
did,
in that
yeah.
department, they're on that page, so they've
Yeah.
already been touched.
I'm all good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sounds great.
I have a first and second, correct? Number 19?
No.
No, okay.
Doesn't have.
All right, can I have a
You got,
first?
you got a motion there?
Yeah.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, approve emergency certification for items 20A and 20B.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve adjunct certification for the position of JAG instructor, at Elkhorn Crossing School.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, approve to abolish 2 classified EL instructional assistant positions.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed?
Why are we abolishing something,
So
especially something like that?
the next two, 22 and 23 are connected.
Okay.
And so the first one, we're abolishing the two A positions and creating the teacher position. So I wanted to make sure you all understood that we're not, you know, it's basically, it's a net zero or a saving cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a first and second, correct? Okay. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 23, approve to create 1 certified EL teacher.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 24, approve and recognize the establishment of a PTA support group for Georgetown Middle School.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 25, approve 2022-2023 cooperative membership agreement.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 26, approve renewal and rates for school insurance and workers' compensation fiscal year 2023.
Move.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 27, approve to award fire extinguisher bid for the 2022-2023 school year.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed?
Question, Billy, on the fire extinguisher, does that include the checking the inside or just the filling of the extinguishers?
I'm gonna have to defer to,
What do you mean check the inside?
Check the pressure for the
Yeah, yeah,
extinguisher? Yeah, okay.
It gives that, and they go around and touch every single one of them. And what they'll typically do is that if there's an issue with one, they just take that one and take off with it and leave another one. So that's usually how they roll. They do that every summer, doing it right now.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 28, Approve carryover of section 6 allocation to fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Move.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 29, review and approve student fees and changes for fiscal year 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I got a question.
You have a question?
I know some of us didn't see this until later, but I've got, the changes are wonky to me, I'll vote for it, but I know we're transitioning, we went for a stretch where district-wide, all those types of fees were done as a donation type thing, and so it's handled differently, and now, if you notice, everything in red is, not everything, but a lot of the additions are sport-related or trips, PIMA, band trip, course trip, which in the previous years, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we went from it being a fee to being a donation, and now we're going back to it being a fee. And that's fine, but if you look at it school by school across the district, we're not doing it consistently. So for example, one middle school is charging a fee for PIMA, but the other 2 middle schools are not. So we're not approving that fee. So I don't know what they're going to charge, I don't know if they're going to make it a donation, but then they're going to make it a fee, it's going to come back to us in the spring. So I don't know, I feel like I just need to go on record as saying I foresee this becoming a problem, because we don't have consistency across the district, particularly at the specific school levels. And so when we start approving fees, if we're not approving it consistently, I just worry about that.
Consistently across the board.
Yeah.
Billy, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, and I understand if you're a cheerleader at one middle school, I don't necessarily agree that it should be the same fee at another school. And I don't want to get in the weeds with all this.
Right.
But I do have concerns about one school charging it as a fee and another school making it a donation. It just, and I did ask Gina for some clarification on why we went from one direction to another, and her explanation makes sense, is that it's always been a school issue. And that maybe at some point it was mandated from a higher level, meaning the superintendent's office, that it be done a certain way. And now we're going back to let the schools decide. And I guess I'm okay with that if that's what they're allowed to do. I just worry about
I think that's, and it might be something me and Gina need to sit down and really think
Yeah.
about, forward thinking of the potentials of that.
Yeah, I just worry about that. So, I mean, I'm gonna vote for it. I'm not trying to slow up progress here, but I just worry that this school year with this changing that, and now putting these on the fees we approved, and without approving a fee for every sport at every school, so that, now I don't know how they're handling it, so it just concerns me.
Do we have an overall fee that can be charged per school?
Yeah, and it's listed in there, so district fees that are standard.
So each school can charge no more than whatever per student?
It just depends. If they want to charge a fee, this is the time we approve it. And if they want you to charge any additional fees at any point throughout the school year, they have to come back and ask us to do it. So they've gone through, and if you look at the document, you can see in red where and if you notice, all the new fees are all sport related. So my initial glance was, what's up with this? They weren't here now, all of a sudden, and then I talked to Gina and realized that's what these changes are, and I just am concerned.
I've seen in some districts that you can only charge this amount of money for all fees, that's including book fees and students paying for their own materials to be consistent. And then that's when you have different, I guess, different variations.
Right, and some of these, they're being smart about it, it's up to. So for the high school level, for the choral trip and the band trip, they moved it, instead of, it's up to $1,500 for a trip. Well, that makes sense, but like I said, I'm just worried about the lack of consistency, and it may be fine. It's just a little more, but, all these new fees and that.
Do we want to move on it? Do you?
No, like I said, I don't want to slow up progress. I don't know that these fees are what they're gonna charge, and they're fine. It's more, my concern is more. Well, it's not, no, it's just, my concern is more about the fees I can't see. Because I know the other 2 middle schools are going to Kuna. I know the other, I know there's schools that aren't listing fees on here, but they have to have them. These kids aren't participating in these things for free. So that's, I guess, my concern.
So perhaps we'll move on this forward, and let me ask if this is okay. Move on this evening, and then Gina and Billy, will you please get back to us
Yeah,
on
I mean,
this?
if it's a problem,
And we'll
we'll
go
know
from
it's a problem.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna hear about it, and then
We'll go from there. I'd rather it start with us than somebody come knocking on our door. So be a little bit more proactive on that one. Let's Do I have a first and a second? I'm going back to that again, thank you very much. All in favor? Those in favor, those, oh, we out here, I lost my word. Those opposed, Lord have mercy, I'm saying 2023 all night long. Those opposed? Yeah, I'm like, what, wait, you threw me off. Those opposed? Motion carries, thank you, sorry about that. Number 30, approve Northern Elementary School copier purchase.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 31, approve donation reports from January 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries.
I have a question. We approve the donations on a monthly basis?
No, semi-annually.
No, but every month in our,
Anything over 1,000 you get.
so these are all the little ones?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just
You see the
there's
tuna
that
trips and
process.
stuff in there.
Right, so these are, that's what I was curious about. That's why we do two different times.
Number 32, approve surplus items.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 33, financial statement.
Our beginning cash balance was 25.3 million, receipts of 8.1 million, expenses of 9.8 million, leaving our ending cash balance at 23,654,659.50.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Number 34, approve current bills.
Move.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 35, superintendent's report.
All right, so strategic leadership, non-resident policies, as I talked about before, all those connected to House Bill 563. We saw this coming for a while, so we've been working on this for some time. Brent carried the water on it at the beginning stages, and Scott Bruins has jumped in at the tail end of this and helped see us to the finish line on it. Instructional leadership, I had an opportunity to do some reading over Ann Mason with Krista Kelly's class and enjoyed my time there. I'm about a third of the way through principal evaluations, and I've had an opportunity to have some conversations with Stephanie Emmons, both in person and over the phone, about our admin retreat preparation. Cultural leadership, this one is one that, I mean, this time of year, there's just a lot to really just talk about. I'll talk about something that wasn't as on the radar, I guess. You know, Dwayne Ellison and our operations side of the house organized a Scott County Education Day with Lexington Legends, in which a portion of the proceeds were donated to our schools for school supplies, and I thought that was pretty neat. Ms. Duncan and I got to do the teacher-to-teacher grant awards, and that was just all across the board. It was a great day. And then employee awards. We had a great time with the employee awards, and that went really well. And then, you know, various graduation festivities, you know, from the parade, which looks like a keeper. Somebody had sent me a text and said, man, I think we did a good enough job, we might be doing this. So from the parade to all the graduations themselves, everything went off really, really well. HR leadership, we hired our Assistant Director of Student Services, and I did that with the help of Tap Housekeeper and Kim Hinton. We hired Liz Yandel for that position. And managerial leadership, you know, we negotiated the bid for New Scott County High School. That's dominated a lot of our conversations lately. And time, that's correct, and time. And through those, you know, through those conversations that we had about just different facility needs, it came to the table some needs that, you know, we've had for a while at Garth, you know, the windows being one, and then at GMS, we talked about the concessions and the restrooms and scoreboard, and you know, some of the obstacles that we had that kept us from being able to address those when we addressed the bleachers, and those being things that we would maybe want to consider. And from talking to everybody on the board, I didn't have any kind of concern that those were not projects that we would not be eager to get rolling on. So it's only been a week since our last meeting, so we really hadn't had a lot of time to get any kind of documentation prepared for that. But unless I hear something opposite from what I appear to have heard from the board from our conversations, I expect that coming up at the July board meeting. So just wanted to share about that. Collaborative leadership. Speaking of the time, you know, the various meetings that we had with everybody to just get to a point where we could consider that negotiated bid. You know, we had from just our, you know, individual conversations that we had, and then I know our meetings with the contractor, D.W. Wilburn and his crew, Georgetown Municipal Water, they were great to work with. Cloptopper Samacar's bunch and Chip and Kelly, you know, the dream team with Baird that they've been great to work with. I told them I tried to stay out of their hair, but when all this started rolling, I said, I'm going to be needy. I'm going to be needy. I won't usually, but this is one of those times I'm going to be. And so they've been with us every step of the way. And then last, influential leadership. Had a meeting with a state representative candidate, Jim Coleman, and it was a great meeting. We met for about 2.5 hours and just talked through a bunch of different things from his vision to mine. It was a very good meeting, and just wanted to make sure that we communicated our needs here in Scott County. And then today attended the Kentucky Association of School Superintendents Summer Institute, and over 100 superintendents across the state there at Western Hills High School, and got a chance to just, I guess, feel a little bit comfortable that everybody's kind of in the same place with a lot of the things and a lot of these changes that we're dealing with this summer. And last but not least, attended a legislative event with the KASS leadership a couple weeks ago that they gave us an opportunity to speak to some of our legislators and legislators across the state, and it also helped me to get an opportunity to talk to Jim Flynn, being one of them, the executive director of KASS, and I got to talk to Mike Borchers from Ludlow Independent. I hadn't really talked to him before. It was interesting to get his perspective on some things he's dealing with as a superintendent as well, and of course Randy Poe, who's on the State Board of Education. So it's good to get a chance to really share our appreciation to him, because he was very instrumental in the CTE funding that is going to increase for the entire state. And he was also instrumental in House Bill 678 with regard to all the work that went with basically giving us that 2-year window of a little bit more freedom from heading facilities grants. So that will conclude my superintendent's report.
All right, thank you so much. Stephanie, board comments. I'd like to start with you.
Okay, thank you. So, last week Wendy took my motion, so I might take her motions this week. I'll try not to. But, so for the past 8 years I've been advocating for those new windows at Garth very passionately, and I'm so excited to hear that that's coming to fruition, hopefully. That building obviously has a big piece of my heart. I wasn't fortunate enough to attend it, but everyone else in my family did, and there's so many special memories there. You know, I have pictures of my 87-year-old granny on the lawn there at Garth, and so for it to get new windows that the children can look in and out of, I mean, I can't hardly sit in my chair. I'm so excited. So I'm just super excited about that. And I drive past that building twice a day, so just to be able to look up and see that. I guess I mean, I'm not a crier and I don't cry in public, so I need to. But I'm extremely excited about that. And then to hear, GMS, that built, those new bleachers are amazing. They're beautiful. I love that green backing. But we got to do more. It's not ADA compliant, not with restrooms. We can't, not with school safety, we can't, hold doors open anymore. And so they've got to have restrooms, they've got to have concession stands. But we can't stop there either. I think that scoreboard might be original. Those field posts or goals, I don't know football. Those things. Help me out, Damon. What are these things?
Goalposts.
Goalposts. There. Those things.
I think your son's playing football, right?
What?
Your son's playing football, right?
Yes, he does. I'm a great sports mom. Yeah, I'm a great mom. But, those things might be original, and there's holes all over that field. I don't know, what we can do, but we gotta help them out. Because those babies are gonna get hurt playing in the field with holes all over them. And then that existing press box, I think it does serve a purpose, so if we don't tear it down, maybe we give permission to the parents or the coaches maybe pressure wash it, is put some fresh paint on it, it would look, you know, a lot better and serve a good purpose if we keep it there. We can just give those guys an okay to do so. I think they would appreciate that.
I think Billy had mentioned a little bit earlier that we're looking at putting together a BG1 for our next meeting pertaining to that.
Right, but I'm just saying that existing press box, the one that's already there, not
Right.
the new one.
Right. We're taking a look at the field as a whole in that
Mhm.
project, so
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
I'm
that will
excited
be-
about that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So July will be, I'll be maybe the happiest person. So, yeah, I'm very excited. So, thank you, Billy, for all that hard work you've been doing and the rest of the team.
Okay, thank you. Susan?
I'm good. It's been a good month to be in Scott County. Graduation and new high school and celebrating our graduates and valedictorians and good work for teachers. I'm just excited to, and you know, honestly, I've said this a couple times to some of you all. We made a really hard decision a few years ago to raise taxes in the county and it was for the sole purpose of improving facilities. And it's still a promise unfulfilled. We still got a lot of work to do. And I'm excited to, with some help with some people in here, we've really got some room to work, and there's some good work still to be done across the district. I'm excited about it.
Kevin?
I guess the first thing I'd like to say is just, you did a good job, Bill. I know you did a lot of work. You have a good team to work with. I think we're very fortunate to have you guys and your architects. I think everybody pulled together to make something that looked like was never gonna be able to happen. So congratulations with all of that. That is outstanding work and a lot of it. I don't think anybody really realized it. I mean, I know, I've driven by here several times before you took the superintendent seat, and I'd see Mr. Parker's truck sitting out front, all ours. This ranked right up with all of that, maybe a little bit more by being out of town was a lot of it. The last thing that I'd like to add to that very thing that I would look forward and excited to see when you have it together, your ideas and plans on the career pathways for that new school as soon as we can. That way if you need to make some modifications that don't come back on us quite.
So you talked a little bit, I think, to Elizabeth, so I've got a meeting for early July for us to sit down with Tony to make sure that she understands. And then to make sure too, because we had a bunch of conversations as we were going down, marching down that path, to make sure we didn't miss anything so that we're prepared for that. So,
Sounds
no
great.
problem, yep.
I'm bragging on you.
Are you all done? I didn't expect you to, Kevin. Thank you very much. I love you too. Wendy, congratulations this
Thank
week.
you. Yeah, I got married on Sunday. But I have decided to keep my last name, so I'm gonna be Wendy Young for life. But professionally, I'll be Wendy Young, but in the other world, I'll be Wendy Hale. So I get to raise more hell with other hells.
Oh, and forever be young.
And then forever be young. Yes, yes. I just want to just say, you know, as a new board member, I really feel supported by all of you guys. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the phone calls. Thank you for calling me and checking on me and asking me, do you understand this? Do you know, I really do feel supported. And then to get to watch up and coming, brand new superintendent from the beginning, because it's going to be me one day. I'm just going to put it out there. And just to see, you know, what you've done and, you know, being a new superintendent, you know, sometimes people don't want to give you what you deserve, and you deserve all your kudos, because you worked hard to get to where we need to be. And, you know, at first, you know, being an outsider, not being on the board, when I heard that was going to be a new school, I was thinking, why? That school is fine, ain't no wrong with it. But, you know, now I understand, you know, equity. As a principal, I was a principal of 2 physical buildings. And then one day I was able just to be a principal of 1 building. And someone told me, whatever they do over there, you got to do, because people are going to talk and people are going to say that. And I understand. Equity is so important, and our students are going to get the very best. We're doing something that no one is, like you said, is doing. So Scott County, people are gonna be watching us, and I'm excited that I get to be a part of that as well. And then just for professional development, to see, you know, what our teachers are learning, that's so exciting, being a teacher myself. Because we wanna make sure that if our teachers have the best, our students are gonna have the best. And we're having the best facilities, we're gonna have to wear, like right now, in other districts, it's hot in those buildings. You know, HBC is not working very well, and, you know, so we're gonna have the best, the brand new of everything. And our kids in all different areas are gonna get to see, have the best. And I'm excited about the windows too. That was the very first thing I said, they can't see all these windows. and you know, it's awful. I went to school at Garth as a kindergartner, so, you know, that's my heart too. And just to see what we're doing, I'm just excited about that. So thank you all. Thank you. I love my team. Go team.
All right. I'd like to sum all of this up, and I know that we've been singing your praises all evening, Chip and Kelly, with, you know, partnering with us. But I have to tell you, as we were taking a look at moving forward with this project with Scott County High School, you know, our job is, you know, of course, designing and processing and approving policies, and budget is huge, and we rely so much, you know, with Gina. But not only that, you guys, we really lean into you guys a lot. And when we came back with, you know, some new bonding potential, thanks to, you know, equalizing our nickel, that was a wonderful surprise. And then looking into some new, you know, some lower interest rates that actually came through during this time, believe it or not, as I'm watching gas prices rise. That was a lifesaver. And, you know, I was able to sleep at night. It was very, very exciting, and I knew that we could realize the dream that we've been working on. So I just want to say thank you. But not only do we get to build that school, we also get to do these projects. And we wouldn't have been able to do that, you know, had not all of this all come together for us. So we're able to do these projects now as well, and look at a few other ones that are on the horizon. So just thank you so much for being such a wonderful partner that we could really lean on and trust. So I just want to just, you know, spill over with kudos to you guys too. So, all right. Well, good meeting this evening. I like it when they're 40 minutes long. Everybody have a wonderful evening and a wonderful June, wonderful summer. All in favor? Those opposed? All right.